today we're going to talk about factoring polynomials. Okay, now yesterday we looked at factoring polynomials, but we looked at the easy polynomials. Today we're going to look at the little more difficult ones. And so if you look here, it says to factor. And so very first thing what I'm going to try and do is take out something that's in common. Is there anything that's in common there?
X.
In all three?
No.
So there's nothing in common with all three terms.
Nope.
So from yesterday, how does this look different from all of the other trinomials we looked at?
There's no square roots. That's my guess. Try to stop guessing.
What's different? There's one big difference. There's one big difference towards the front. There's a number here in front of the x squared. Okay, so this is one that we can't just jump to the solution, so we've got a few steps. First step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the first and the last. So the first and the last, so 6 times 3 is 18. And then I'm going to follow the same steps that I did with the other trinomials. So 2 factors of 18 that do what? Differ by 7. What are those? 2 factors of 18 that differ by 7. 2 and 9. So now I need to figure out how do I get a positive 7 from 2 and 9. Positive 9, negative 2. So now this is where things get a little different. So I need you to just hold on and kind of follow. See if you can follow here. I'm going to rewrite this statement. Except for in place of 7x, I'm now going to use the negative 2 and the positive 9. So in place of the 7x, I'm now going to use the negative 2 and the positive 9. So I rewrote the entire statement except for in the middle. I replaced those two. Okay? So far so good?
How'd you get that negative 2 again?
Because that was 2 factors of 18 that differed by 7. And then how do you get a positive 7, negative 2, and positive 9?
Right.
So now what I'm going to do is I've got 4 terms. Whenever you have 4 terms, you group them. I'm going to group those by 2's. What can you take out from the first pair? What is in common? A 2x. So now I need to factor like I did yesterday. If I take 2x from 6x squared, 2 times what is 6? 3. So it will be 3x minus 1. Yep. Now I'm going to take out something in common from the second pair. What's in common from the second pair? A 3. If I take a 3 from 9x, what are you left with? 3x minus
1.
Oh, and what do you notice?
We're done.
If you've done it right,
They're the same.
these two should be identical. If you don't get those two to be identical, you need to go back and rework it because those two need to be the same. That is one of your factors, 3x minus 1. Does anybody know what the other factor is going to be?
Do we have to find 2?
It's going to be 2 quantities, yes. Anybody have a clue as to maybe, yeah?
2x plus 3?
2x plus 3. So the other quantity is going to be what's on the outside of those parentheses. And there you go. That is what that factors to be. So if I were to FOIL that out, I will get my original starting trinomial. Now we're going to look at another one, because I'm sure some of you are probably like, huh? So let's go ahead and look at another one. Okay? So here's our second one. I have 20x, or 20y squared minus 11y minus 3. Can you take something out that's in common with all 3? No. Can't take anything out. Next thing, what I need to do is I notice the number in front of the y squared is something other than a 1, bigger than 1. So I can't just jump to factoring. So what I need to do then is multiply the first and the last. 2 factors of what? 60 that differ by, nope, don't do the negative, okay, because we take care of the negative when we say they differ by. They differ by 11. So what are 2 factors of 60 that differ by 11?
Can we use a calculator?
Yeah. 2 factors of 60 that differ by 11. Yeah.
4 and 15.
4 and 15, very good. So now how do you get a negative 11 from 4 and 15?
Negative 15 plus 4.
Positive 4, good. So negative 15, positive 4. Now, once we get the numbers, we're going to rewrite that whole statement. So the very first, I'm going to have 20y squared. Can somebody tell me what I'm going to have next? Plus 4y, good. Now, whenever you have a negative as your second one, I'm going to want you to write it this way. Plus negative 15y minus 3.
Wait, so we have to put y's behind the
Yes.
factors?
Yes, because you're rewriting the middle term. Notice if I were to combine like terms in this blue step, I'll get back up to my black statement. So now what I need to do is group up. What is in common with the first one? 4,
4 Y's.
4y. Now when I take out a 4y, what do I get? 5y plus 1. Now you won't always get plus 1. In this case we do, but you won't always get that. Plus, what can you take out from negative 15y and negative 3? Negative 3. Now, for those of you wondering, how would you know 3, negative 3? If I look at this, this needs to be a positive 5y. Okay, so in order to get a positive 5y from negative 15y, you need to take out a negative 3. So here I get 5y plus 1. So now my factors, yep, they sure match. So 5y plus 1 is my first. My next one is?
4y.
Yep, 4y plus negative 3, or you could write that as 4y minus 3, because remember, that's whatever's left on the outside of the parentheses. What do you think so far?
The plus negative thing is,
You could just put minus, so write it as 4y minus 3.
okay.
The reason why I did the plus negative is because in this step right here, if you would just have minus 15y, a lot of people lose the negative sign. All right. So let's go ahead and, ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, this one. Can you take out something that's in common?
No.
No. So now I take first times last. 100. So 2 factors of 100 that do what? Add up to 20. 10 and 10, very good. What do I know about 10 and 10 in order to get a positive 20? They have to be positive, very good. Next step, what do we get? Yep, go ahead. What do-
4m squared
Perfect.
plus 10 plus 10 or m
Plus 10, yep, plus
25.
25. What do you do now? Put them together, yep, group them. What's in common?
M.
Yep, m and 2m. So if I take out a 2m, what do I get?
2m squared plus
2m plus 5. What do you get from the second one? 5. And so then I get?
2 plus 5.
Perfect. Oh, okay, so you notice these are the same. So that is in fact one of your factors. What's the other factor? 2m plus 5. What do you know about both of them? They're the same, so really you should go one step further. And instead of being 2m plus 5 times 2m plus 5, it should be 2m plus 5 quantity squared. Questions? Do you think you can handle that? Yeah. Okay, we're going to look at the next one because I do think I had one more. Oops, this is the one. We could go back to that one. That one might work too.
Did you only get one set of parentheses? How'd that work?
Because they were both the same. They were identical. 2m plus 5 times 2m plus 5. Okay, so let's look at this one. We need to take out something in common if we can. Can we take something out in common here? Because notice, these are some pretty big numbers. So it would benefit you if you could take out a number. And you, as Casey has already said, you can take out a 3. So if I take a 3 out, that leaves me with 3m squared minus 25mn plus 8n squared. So by taking that 3 out, we've made it a little bit more manageable because now I can take first times last. So 2 factors of 24 that do what? Add up to 25. Very good. What are those? 24 and 1. How do you get a negative 25 from 24 and 1? Negative, negative. Now, we still need to leave that 3 on the very outside, okay, because we've taken it out from the original problem. So we're going to go ahead and leave that 3 outside, and then we're going to kind of treat this like its own little thing. So I get 3m squared minus 24mn. I'm going to put plus a negative 1mn again, if you don't, and then plus 8n squared. Okay. Now what do you do?
Why did you leave a big space in front of
Do you group those?
So that you don't get it confused. The question is, why did you leave a big space between the parentheses? The reason why I did, okay, is so that I wouldn't get confused with that 3 in that parentheses, because we're going to be putting another set of parentheses in. Because now what you're going to do is you're going to group. And sometimes when you have those 2 parentheses really, really close, people get confused. So that's the only reason why I did that. Okay. All right, what can you take out from the first set? 3m. Okay, so notice I still have my 3 outside here. So I'm just going to kind of leave that alone. So if I take out a 3m, that leaves me with m minus 8n. Okay, good. Don't forget about that n. M minus 8n. What can you take out from this one right here?
Where'd the M go, though? Oh, you took it out.
Okay.
Did you?
Yep. Now, be careful. Now, look at what we want to match up to. We want to get a positive m. So what am I going to take out here? A negative n. If I take out that negative n, I have positive m. If I take a negative from a positive, that's going to give me minus 8n. Okay, and parentheses are way up here. All right. So what is one of your quantities?
M minus 8n.
M minus 8n. Good. What's your other one? 3m minus n. And then last but not least, I have a 3 out front that I need to bring down. And there you go. Now, for some of you that don't think you need the 3, you do. Because in the original problem, our first term is 9. If you leave that 3 out, your first term here will be 3. All right, questions? I don't think we need to look at another one, do we? Do you think you've got the hang of things? Okay, so here's your assignment then. Your assignment is to now do 7 through 18. You can add this on to the one that you did from yesterday, section 3. Okay, you can add that on to section 3 from yesterday. So this is due tomorrow.